Throughout the story of Monster Hunter World, something is drawing in dying elder dragons, the most noticeable of which being Zora Magdaros. We later discover the root cause of which to make home somewhere in the Elder's recess. Here we can observe bioenergy from the decomposing elder dragons to take form as these crystalline structures. But then, digging a little deeper unveils something terrifying. Something living and breathing had been layering in these powerful dragons, siphoning their energy in the process. And then,
It's too pure. What is this thing really?
it reveals itself. Xeno'jiva is an adolescent when we witness it break free from its cocoon. Understanding this thing is already way too threatening to the new world, we're given one simple instruction.
Don't let it leave the nest. And I mean do not. I'll be back with help.
Xeno is clumsy in its attacks, wild in its movement, and lacking in intelligence, fitting for a newly hatched dragon. Yet despite this, its ability to wield bioenergy as a weapon is incredibly dangerous. As the fight goes on, you'll notice that Xeno will begin learning how to more effectively use this tool, and controls it with more precision. The hunter manages to take this Xeno'jiva down, but evidently another one managed to live on. Now, we need to bring up the Guiding Lands. I know this place isn't everyone's favourite, but it's incredibly important to Safi'jiva's origin. I'll make it quick. The Guiding Lands are a strange place, with its existence making little sense. Ecosystems of polar opposite belonging coexist in one connected area. Monsters that ordinarily would never be found near each other now live amongst one another. As the hunter slays monsters, the respective region increases in level and develops further. This paves the way for even stronger monsters to live here, with this continuing to happen all the way up until tempered elder dragons arrive. Does this sound familiar to you? Monsters dying provides energy to the land itself in an exponentially increasing cycle. That is, until we make a discovery in a secluded cavern nearby. Safi'jiva's name in Wyverian language translates to perfect life, a moniker appropriate for a dragon capable of surpassing Fatalis. And yes, you heard that right. Had Safi survived, it would have grown more powerful than the monster that wiped out civilizations. But is Safi really gone? I'll explain. The dragon shifts from an alien look to a more standard fantasy appearance donning red scales. This appearance at first glance doesn't seem to make much sense, but does it actually make a bit too much sense? From base game world we know Xeno'jiva, the adolescent form of Safi, was attempting to draw other monsters into it so that when they die it can absorb their energy and gain strength. Now, I don't know about you, but if I walked into a dark cavern, the first thing I'm probably seeing is this giant red dragon. There's no hiding in the shadows, it's inviting you over to it, drawing your attention in. According to the wiki, it mentions that when Capcom designed monsters that look really strong, they tend to end up black coloured, so they made Safi'jiva red instead to change things up. This one reason for their design choice is very significant. What's being claimed here is that Safi is of similar strength to what I'm assuming being referenced are monsters like Alatreon and Fatalis. So while it might not share the title of Black Dragon, you can certainly assume Safi to enter the categorisation of dangerous first class monsters. Even still, certain parts of Safi's body are black in colour. It appears to me that this coloration is beginning to spread, starting from the outside and working its way in. Through the consumption of enough bioenergy, Xeno was able to transform into Safi. If Safi was left to its own devices, maybe it would have continued evolving into what would be very fitting for its name, the perfect life form. Much like how Xeno pulled in elder dragons to accelerate the process, maybe Safi needed to pull in black dragons to do the same thing. And surprise surprise, who shows up in Safi's arena not long after the fact? Alatreon. We'll get back to this a little later on, as this fight may imply way more significance than we first thought. And then, not long after that hunt, Fatalis joins the party. You might be thinking, surely Fatalis has nothing to do with this, as he's in a completely different area of the game. Fatalis was a bonus update we were never supposed to get, and therefore I doubt he ever entered the equation while Capcom was storyboarding Safi. Except just one thing. The Red Dragon was literally created to rival or at least equal Fatalis. We all know Fatalis is arrogant. It fights us on 2 feet unless we knock him down, purely as a gesture to mock humans. If he was already in the New World at the same time as Safi, and Safi was constantly broadcasting itself out in attempt to pull monsters in, I can't help but feel that Fatalis would try and prove a point and take it down. Likewise, could Safi have been the reason Fatalis was in the New World in the first place? After all, it was capable of drawing Alatreon in, who's categorised at the same danger level. There are so many possibilities tied to what could have happened had we not got to Safi first. But equally, I'm not so sure that Safi's truly gone. If you didn't know, Fatalis is rumoured to be able to regenerate after death from its heart or its eyes. My assumption is Safi can do the same. That's why when Alatreon arrives, he sets ablaze to all the remnants of the Red Dragon's shed skin, ensuring a rebirth doesn't happen. Where else can we find remains of Safi? As with all monsters, we're able to turn her materials into armour and weaponry. Let's start with the armour. This set has a unique bonus and matches the themes we've explored today. The gear drains the hunter's life force in exchange for power. Continuously attacking and therefore undergoing this process for a longer time results in the hunter's health being returned at an accelerated rate, almost as if you're being rebirthed. And it's not just the armour's set effect that encapsulates Safi's power either. In appearance, we can also visibly see bioenergy being stored in what at a stretch could be the heart of the armour. To me, what this implies is that even after death, Safi's remains are still capable of storing and utilising bioenergy. After all, that's the only explanation as to how the hunters can gain these effects while wearing it. With this in mind, is it so out of the question that even after death, Safi's corpse could absorb the energy around it, almost like a failsafe until she's able to return to full strength? We also of course have the weapons. Completing this siege hunt will reward players with a currency that can be used to awaken the weapons further. What at first are simply dormant tools gradually come to life with the energy we feed, granting them more power. You'll also notice that awakened weapons have a distinct appearance when compared to the original model. They now pulsate with energy, and even parts of them move around during combat. Of course, the line of what's simply a design choice versus lore accurate information will always be blurred in this game. Regardless, this is such a nice touch, and I'm a huge fan of the finer details incorporated. When we do beat Safi and Alatreon, this part of the story is left unanswered. The hunters remain questioning what Safi's motivation was, and why Alatreon ventured into her arena in the first place. I've primarily been speaking as though we slayed Safi first and then slayed Alatreon second, but if we don't look at this so black and white, many more doors and possibilities open up for discussion. Let's first assume that we don't slay Safi before Alatreon arrives. Maybe we're in the process of sieging the monster and slowly chipping away at it. Alatreon is known to be a monster that enjoys solitude. Anything that disturbs this peace is therefore eliminated. Could Safi have simply annoyed the Black Dragon with its luring, resulting in him showing up to halt her actions? In this case, we then need to question if this was always part of the Red Dragon's plan. The handler mentions after our encounter with the dragon that he's unlikely trying to pick a fight with her, as once again the assumption is that they like to remain isolated and unbothered. Turning up to invade another monster's den opposed to defending its own is quite strange, so maybe this is a point towards Safi's doing. However, what if we try and look at things from the perspective that Alatreon's actions were uninfluenced? This area is saturated with bioenergy, as we already know. Perhaps the Black Dragon, since both Safi'jiva and the hunters alike were weakened from their ongoing battle, saw this as an opportunity to swoop in. He could then take the land for himself and capitalise on the abundance of energy to further develop. As for his behaviour not lining up to the monster's tendencies, well, maybe this could either be a young dragon who's yet to call anywhere home, or could he have possibly been an older creature nearing the end of its lifespan, looking for one last chance to extend its mortality. This is all just speculation that may forever go unanswered. Equally, it's very unlikely for Capcom to introduce such a powerful monster like Safi, connect it to other calamity bringing creatures, just for it to disappear. Let me know your theories in the comment section below, and of course tell me if there's anything I missed out. Thanks for watching.